Welcome everyone. Let's begin our lesson for today by going over the learning goals and success criteria. First, what are we learning? We're learning how to factor polynomials with a coefficient of 1 into a product of binomials. How are we learning it? Through the factoring using products of Binomials Part I notes and the factoring using products of Binomials Part I assignment. When can we use this information? To examine problems in your life from different perspectives in order to find the best approach to simplify the problem. How do we know we learned it? By getting a score of 4 on the factoring using products of binomials part 1 assignment. Now let's take a look at our agenda for today. We will begin by going over the learning goals and success criteria. While we do that, you'll fill out your Get It Started. Once you've completed your Get It Started, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. After that, we'll go over the factoring using binomials part 1 notes, and then I'll give you time to complete the factoring using binomials part 1 assignment. Once you've completed the assignment, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. At the end of class, we'll go back over our learning goals and success criteria while you fill out your Before You Go. Your only homework for tonight is to continue working on the quadratic study guide and any incomplete assignments that you may have. Let's take a look now at the factoring using binomials part 1 notes. The notes begin with the learning goals and success criteria. Now, factoring. Factoring is a term that means simplifying a problem by determining the factors of the expression. So we need to be able to pick out a common factor that exists within a number or a set of numbers. So in this case, let's just look at 36. What are the factors of 36? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. These are factors because I can multiply all of these numbers by something and get 36. Or another way to look at it is 36 is divisible evenly by all of these numbers. So these are factors. Now, what is a quadratic? A quadratic is an expression or equation that is of this form: ax squared plus bx plus c. So notice the squared term is here, that we have an x squared, and we have some other x and then some constant. A, b, and c are all numbers. So those are not actually variables. So an example would be 3x squared plus 2x plus 4. That would be an example of a quadratic. So if I asked you to factor this quadratic, x squared plus 5x plus 4, the solution is going to be of this form: x plus m times x plus n, and m and n will be some number. So we need to figure out what numbers need to go in these two spots. And the way we do it is by using the x method. So we're looking at the same question, and here's what we do. We place c in the top. So c is 4, so this goes up here. Then we place b in the bottom. b is the middle number, so this goes here. Now we're going to write out the factors of c. So what are the factors of 4? Well, we have 1, 2, and 4. So those are my factors. Now I need to figure out which two of those numbers are going to multiply to equal 4 and add to equal 5. Well, I have 1 times 4 is 4, and when I add those two together, I also get 5. So I'm going to go ahead and put each of those in each of these sides. It doesn't matter which one goes where, as long as I have 1 and 4 on each side. Then I'm going to place those two values into the solution. So I start with x plus m times x plus n. I'm going to plug 1 in for one of them and 4 in for the other one. So I get x plus 4 times x plus 1. And that would be my solution. Let's look at another example. We have x squared minus 6x plus 8. So same thing, place c at the top. So c is 8, so that goes here. Place b in the bottom, which is negative 6. So that goes there. Then I'm going to write out the factors. What are the factors of 8? Well, I have 1, 2, 4, and 8. Now, which of those are going to multiply to equal 8 and add to get negative 6? Well, remember, these can be both positive or negative. So I'm looking at negative 1 times negative 8 is positive 8, but it's also equal to negative 9. So that's not the answer. What about this one? So negative 2 and negative 4. If I multiply those two together, I get positive 8, and when I add them together, I get negative 6. So that would be my solution. So it's negative 2 and negative 4. So I place those in my x, and then add them to my solution. which started as x plus m times x plus n. Well, I'm going to plug in -2 for one of these and -4 for the other one. So I get x minus 4 times x minus 2. One more example. We have x squared minus 4x minus 12. Well, I place c at the top, which is -12. I place b at the bottom, which is -4. Then I write out the factors of c. So what numbers multiply to get 12? Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now I need to find two numbers that multiply to equal -12 and add to get -4. So I know in order to get a negative when I multiply, one of them has to be positive, one of them has to be negative. So one of these has got to get me close to 4. So if I do this, I have 2 and 6 are 4 away from each other. So I just need to make sure that when I add them, the bigger number is negative so that it stays negative. So I'm going to make this -6 and +2. When I multiply those together, I get -12. When I add them together, I get -4. So I go ahead and add those to my x. Then I place them into the solution. So I start with x plus m times x plus n. And then I'm going to plug -6 in for one of them and 2 in for the other one. And I get x minus 6 times x plus 2. There's a video here now that shows you how you can check your work with factoring using Symbolab. So you can go ahead and watch that video. Let's talk now about how we can use the Symbolab factor calculator to factor polynomials. So if you notice, I am on Symbolab, and it does say that this is the factor calculator. So when you do that, the word factor should already be here. And now I'm just going to put in the equation that I want to factor. So let's say it's x squared minus 4. So that's what I'm going to put in, and I'm going to go ahead and click go. So when I do that, it gives me the answer down here at the bottom, x plus 2 times x minus 2, and it shows me the steps of how I can get there. So this is one way to check your work to see if you did your work correctly when factoring. So this is how Symbolab factor calculator can help you with your factoring. Let's take a look now at the factoring using Binomials Part I assignment. The assignment begins with the learning goals and success criteria. If we scroll down, we can see the questions. The first one says x squared minus 7x minus 18. So we would create our magic x, and we need two numbers that multiply to get 18 and subtract to get 7 because this is minus. So when we do that, we have 9 and 2. When we multiply those together, we get 18, and they subtract to get 9. So we know that this is negative, so the bigger number needs to be negative. So we have -9, so x minus 9 times x plus 2, which is this one right here. And we'll look at the next one. Next one says x squared minus 5x minus 14. So again, we would magic x this. So we need two numbers that multiply to get 14 and subtract to get 5. Well, we know 2 and 7 multiply to get 14 and subtract to get 5. So when we do that, we know that the bigger number needs to be negative so that this stays negative. So we need x minus 7 and x plus 2, which is this one here. So you'll continue to answer all these questions just like that until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, go ahead and click next. This will take you to your before you go. Go ahead and fill out your before you go and then submit your work on Google Classroom.